What's up Internet, Alpha here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about microtransactions and DLC. Having effectively taken over the gaming industry, microtransactions and DLC are extremely effective. But first things first, what are they? Microtransactions are small micropayments that users can make to get virtual goods in-game. They're usually small payments between a couple of cents to a few dollars, and usually you can purchase them infinitely. Next up, we got DLC. Now DLC actually stands for downloadable content. These larger packs tend to be things like map packs or side storylines, things like that. They usually range from about $10 up to about $50. Now, not to be confused, microtransactions are technically downloadable content, but in the gaming community, microtransactions and DLC are totally different things. Now, after paying $60 to $80 for a game, who in their right mind would want to spend more money on this kind of content? Turns out a lot of people do, and they'll actively buy it. Today we're going to take a deeper look at why people pay for microtransactions and DLC, and why they're so successful. Alright, so first, let's talk about microtransactions. How do these little itty bitty payments affect the gaming industry so much? Well, for starters, they're everywhere. Mobile games nowadays almost don't exist without them. Whether it's buying premium gems, or gold, or credits, or whatever they want to call it, to buying characters that are exclusive or gold-plated or whatever. 99% of the time, these frivolous purchases are totally unneeded and either there for people who are too lazy to play the game to unlock them or need to have the most ridiculous gear. They often involve speeding up the game and are expendable items so that the user can purchase them over and over again. Though mobile games aren't the only source of microtransactions, they're also a staple to free-to-play games like Dota 2, which offers completely cosmetic items, all the way to games like Battlefield Heroes, which is the highest level of pay-to-win. Now, free-to-play games have basically two forms, freemium and pay-to-win. Freemium means the game is free, but you have the option to purchase things. Ultimately, it won't make you any better or worse than the competition. These things are things like cosmetics and items that don't affect gameplay. Pay to win means if you pay money, you will have a definitive advantage over others. Better guns, better equipment, better cars, whatever the game involves. Usually these pay to win items are either locked behind a paywall or on a tier that non-paying users are almost unable to reach. Now the question is, why are they so popular? Why do people spend so much collective cash on seemingly insignificant things? Because they're tiny and insignificant. People love a deal, and what's a couple of cents or a few dollars to have a golden whatever flashing around all over your screen? The business model is working really well, and every company needs to get their hands on it. Not including this paid content could mean companies are leaving potential millions on the table. The AAA game companies have taken notice of the mobile and free-to-play industry and expanded their own $60 games with microtransactions. This is where it gets messy. Every new game these days has DLC, but microtransactions in AAA games were unheard of until the last few years, and since then there have been a few offenders, some worse than others, but to gamers, all are bad. Microtransactions in AAA games usually varies in a few forms. Most commonly, it's in-game currency. Games like GTA 5 and AC Unity are prime examples. They offer a gameplay experience that at no time forces you to pay your way through, and again, oftentimes paying for in-game stuff is a way to save time, in most cases, a lot of time. GTA 5 has been extremely successful in their online mode through microtransactions alone. They sell cash cards at varying increments for varying amounts of money, and the prices of everything in-game are astronomical. Well, maybe not super outrageous, but they're pretty steep in comparison to what gamers make on each job. Unless you're constantly playing the game and earning the maximum amount of money from the missions as possible, then you aren't going to be making any cash that quickly. So if you want the coolest cars and the nicest houses, you're gonna have to pay for it. Now, games like AC Unity have done it the wrong way. The premium currency in-game can be used to purchase upgrades and new equipment for your assassin. This means, with enough cash, you can own the highest tier gear as soon as you wanted it. The packs increase in value as you pay more money, but there is one simple flaw in the amounts you earn. Ethan Levy, a game journalist for Kotaku magazine, posted an article where he reportedly spent $100 on in-game credits in AC Unity. His findings were that upon spending the money and upgrading his character, he breezed through the rest of the campaign and got to max level. He was left with $56 worth of premium credits left over and nothing to spend it on. To his dismay, he was unable to purchase the season pass with his leftover credits so as to get more out of the game, and was forced to pay again to get the rest of it. Ethan worked as a game dev and a monetization consultant in the industry, and he felt cheated. Games should always have enough content so that players don't feel as though they've wasted their money. Next is probably RNG purchases, things like card packs in Mass Effect 3, or supply crates in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare, or even battle packs in Battlefield. These purchases are unlimited, one-time use items that usually offer a chance to get something good, but also a bunch of crap. They play on gamers' gambling tendencies to rake in the cash, usually offering a sweet deal if they spend more. The worst thing about these items you can earn from these packs is that there's usually no other way to unlock them. In most cases, you can grind for hours in-game to unlock these packs, but often there's no guarantee you'll get what you want. And to put actual money towards it doesn't affect your chances of getting that specific item you're looking for. Gamers will fall for this time and time again. Sure, gambling can be fun, and eventually you'll be ended up buried in shit that you don't care about and have no use for, still longing for those items you so desperately want. And finally, we've got single item purchases. Things like skin packs for guns or single characters. Two of the biggest names in this are Mortal Kombat X and Call of Duty. Now the newer CODs tend to keep most of its personalization in supply crates, but the old COD had skin packs. Black Ops 2, one of the first games I saw with microtransactions. Now for only $1.99 you can get a whole skin for your gun. Yeah, that's right, $2 and you can cover your gun in bacon, and have bacon themed sights, and a bacon emblem for your account. Maybe it's worth it, maybe not. Now you can earn weapon skins in-game through completing objectives with that weapon, but they're your basic camos with the gold camo at the end if you complete all of the other challenges. But that's where it ends. To get the silly camos, you have to fork out more cash. Save your money, let everyone else's glowing guns give away their position. Back to Mortal Kombat. In MTX, you have to buy new characters and new skins for $5 a pop. Now yes, that's not a lot, but let's remember the good old days where to unlock those extra characters, you had to work for it. In Deception, you had to earn in-game coin to spend on bonus content, and you had to find characters in this graveyard of your hard-earned time. Or most commonly in fighting games, you beat the game, you unlock a character or skin. Now, you beat the game, you get a pat on the back, and you pay more money to unlock the bonus content. Now as a gamer, I can't deny that I believe microtransactions are ruining the way games play nowadays. But it's not all bad. Gaming basically originated on microtransactions. Arcade games were the original microtransaction machine. And yes, it's not the same as at-home gaming, but no matter what, it comes down to making money. Companies need and want to make money. Sometimes it's for legit reasons, like trying to break even on a game. Sometimes it's just for greed. How they go about making that money and the success of these strategies is what makes the difference. Grand Theft Auto 5 sold 60 million copies, so it's safe to say that they made their money back. I believe I read somewhere that they made a good quarter of it back in pre-orders alone. But the real cash cow for GTA 5 has been the cash cards. On sales and cash cards alone, Rockstar has made $500 million. That's twice what they spent making the game. It's lucrative, and it works. With these strategies in place, customers are spending millions of dollars to companies for little pieces of extra content, and the entire justification is, it's not that much money. And I know, I've been there, and I will admit to feeding the system, but it's true. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money. Is it worth what I'm paying for? That's up to you. But the companies know what the people want, and they are providing, and making some coin along the way. Let's move on to DLC. Now DLC is a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to popularity. Who does it right, who does it wrong, etc. Just to clarify, microtransactions and DLC are very similar. DLC tends to be larger content packs with lots of extra content that you can only purchase once. DLC tends to be things like map packs, extra story missions, levels, and other stuff. Games like Battlefield and COD's DLCs tend to be map packs, a few new maps and a couple more guns, etc. The Witcher 3 recently won awards for its DLC. 2 DLC added countless hours of story and gameplay. Although getting new content for a game you enjoy always seems nice, sometimes there's a downside to it. Many companies have been accused of removing seemingly core pieces of games just to add them in as DLC later. game companies are essentially making games that are incomplete and forcing you to pay again to get the rest. EA games are known as the biggest culprit of this kind of scandal. This is most easily shown in games like The Sims, namely The Sims 4. Now, The Sims is a life simulator. You build a family, make their home, and control their lives and however they interact with the world around them. It's pretty well a sandbox, so you can do almost everything you want to do without having to buy anything extra. The additions to The Sims 3, for example, allowed you to travel to the future, add monsters, and other such things. Things that are most definitely extra content. The Sims 4, however, was a skeleton of a game, and removed almost everything from the base game, including pools and toddlers, two staples from the previous franchise, only to be added in later as DLC. Games like Destiny, which was a multi-million-dollar budget game and an absolutely colossal sales success, felt unfinished to players. The DLC they added felt as though it should have been in the game to begin with, and players felt ripped off when they found out each DLC would be about $30. With 5 total DLC, that's $150 extra for stuff that should have already been included. Call of Duty's DLC packs almost completely alienate players who don't want or can't afford them, limiting them to servers without the DLC and often giving purchasers a strong advantage with weapons that are far superior to the standard. Not to mention the fact that almost all of their DLC is reskins of maps they've already made and then labeled fan favorite. Though there is a right way to do DLC, Rainbow Six Siege is a great example. All DLC thus far have been maps that anyone can play free of charge, as well as the new characters introduced are completely accessible through in-game credit purchases. While Siege does have microtransactions, its DLC are well done and well received. The thing with DLC and why players still spend so much money on it is for two reasons. Either they're forced into it in order to continue playing, or the content that they would gain from purchasing the DLC is deemed worthy of what they're actually spending. Sadly, game companies are not going to change anytime soon. Even though gamers are always in uproar about DLC and microtransactions in games, the game companies don't really care all that much. The fact of the matter is, gamers vote with their wallets, and we won't stop buying this crap. Whew, well that was a lot to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out some of my other videos on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.